Bonjour mes amis et bienvenue au Pendu dans un Cercle de Lune. Hello friends. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Well, friends, if you are a returning visitor, from my attempt at a French introduction to this video, you know that this is my series in which I use Terre de Marseille adjacent, or antique Italian decks to help me explore topics, to actually explore the previous spread that I read for this week. What does that mean? Well, every week I read a spread, and I've done Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot spreads. I spent a year doing work with the Continental Tarot system, and now I'm in the middle of my Thoth deep dive year. And so I'm doing what I call my Back to Basics mini-series within my Thoth deep dive year, which means I'm limiting myself to a 3-card spread with 2 oracle cards giving some advice. And so I've done that. And then I use Terre de Marseille adjacent, or antique Italian decks to help me pull out a more refined, a more concise, or a deeper understanding of that previous spread that I read. And so that's what I've done. I've gotten ourselves all ready. But before we dive into this week's spread, I'd like to ask you, did you watch this last week's video? If you have not watched this last week's video, I'll put a link up here, a card up here, for you to hop on over and take a look at that. The title, the working title right now for that video is Infused with Love. I like that title. I hope it's an appropriate title. And remember, you don't have to watch all of these videos in one fell swoop. You don't have to watch it from beginning to end, from soup to nuts. You can watch them in pieces, yeah? Watch 10 minutes now, come back later in the day or when you're washing the dishes and watch 10 more minutes then. Come back later and watch a little bit more, right? So, you can do that. And just in case you have done that, let me give you just a brief reminder, a taste of what it was you saw, just in case you need it. We were called to be discerning in the decisions we're making and the actions we're performing, making sure that we are moving in the direction we want to be moving in. We want to avoid second guessing ourselves and criticizing ourselves, and instead discover the fire and energy that we have within for creativity. And being careful of letting that energy knock us off into the bushes, yeah? Being careful of getting out of control, of hyperactivity even. We want to direct that energy in the path of living our intentional lives and evolving into the people who will have the experiences that we want to have. And then there was a little bit of love and avoidance of defensiveness, but moving towards prosperity that was indicated in the spread as well. All very interestingly. And so, after I had laid out that spread and taken a look at it, I laid out another spread with Terre de Marseille to get a more concise answer, precise answer. But really, since that is a 3-card spread, and this is hopefully going to be a 3-card spread, I don't really think that we get a more concise answer, but rather we get another layer of answer. Since they're both similar size, right? Usually I do these huge, monstrous spreads so that I do this really trimmed down spread with Terre de Marseille to get a more concise answer, right? To get a distilled answer. Both answers to the question, how can we live our lives more intentionally in the coming week, are of same weight, you might say, are of similar complexity. So, another layer of answer to the question. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the spread, and then we'll talk about it. Are you all ready? Here we go. What do you think of this deck? Have you seen this deck before? Do you have this deck? It's called the Metanoia Tarot, and it's ostensibly a redrawing of the Tarot de Marseille to include some more diversity. It echoes for me a little bit the Tarot Nuit, which is a French production. Much larger cards, much more chocolate palette to the Tarot Nuit. And this one is not, but still, that the idea and the way that these cards are drawn echoes to me that Tarot Nuit. But it's a beautiful card deck. It's a wonderful deck. It just came into my library very, very recently. The backs are also lovely. Here's what the backs of the cards look like, and it's already edged with a teal coating. Lovely deck, absolutely lovely deck. It's a rose petal finish or soft touch finish. So it's right now a little bit not sticky, but it's not very slippery. I think this will smooth out very quickly. So it's not like some of them which are really grippy and you can't really even do this with them. Yeah. So it's a good deck. I recommend it. If I can, I'll put a link to the deck. It was a Kickstarter. If there are decks available, I'll put a link down here at the bottom. And I don't know if you saw last week's Tarot de Marseille reading. I would call this Tarot de Marseille adjacent. If you saw last week's Tarot de Marseille reading, using the Tarot de Paris, just saying, gorgeous redrawing of that deck. We got all minors, all small cards last week and also this week, right? Left to right, we had the 4 of Coins, the 10 of Swords, and the 6 of Cups. No majors, no court cards. So there was no reason for me to pull extra cards, so we limited it to 3 cards. No problems, right? And here, the lovely Carol Merrill. No, the lovely 4 of Coins card here. You see the shield there in the center? Lovely design. It's a little difficult for me to see what's on that shield. So I imagine it would be difficult for you to see what's on that shield too. It looks like it's a bird that has half of its body most of its body, lower body and left side are red, and the right wing and the upper body are whitish. There's a little banner across its breast, and then there are dots on the banner. I can't see what that's supposed to be. But the 4 of Coins, what is that for us? 4 is stability, right? It's foundation. It's stability and foundation are the 2 best keywords that I have for 4s. And being coins, that would be material. That would be our bodies. That would be I think the work that we do primarily is in the coins. Our passions and our creativity are in the wands. The coins are our daily work, our jobs. Yeah? And our financial resources. So we have stability in all of those things with the 4 of Coins. So we have the idea of conservatism. Conservation, I mean. Conserving. We got the stuff that we have and we keep it. Now, it's not a rigid thing, it's not locking it in a safe, but we allow flow. New resources come in and existing resources flow out, but we conserve that which we have. Yeah? We want to create security in this card. We want to be frugal. Now, we want to make sure that we're not being, is that spendthrift? Yeah, we're not being spendthrifts. We're not wasting our resources, whether it's cash or other material. We want to maintain our security and stability. That could be our homes, our health, or a territory, our space. And we want to keep our homes, health, and territory in working order by not letting our assets stagnate. Which is, like I said, we don't want to lock in whatever it is, our bodies, our resources, our money. We don't want to lock it in a safe so that nothing can get out. We're not hoarding, we're not being greedy. We want it to be a very balanced, stable, conservative, as in the sense of conservation, conservative ecosystem and system of flowing in and flowing out. So that's where we're starting from. We want to start with stability. A living ecosystem of stability, but yes, stability. And conserving that which we have, not guarding it and hoarding it and being greedy with it, but maintaining it, right? And that moves us right into the Ten of Swords. Now, in the in the Smith-Waite deck, for example, in the Golden Dawn decks especially, the Ten of Swords card is really, really negative, right? In Pamela Coleman Smith's art, we see what looks like a dead body with blood flowing out of it, perhaps, and be stabbed with 10 swords, or 10 swords are stabbed into the body and the ground, perhaps. I don't read the Ten of Swords in Terre de Basset in that way at all. This is the card of agreements and compromise. Now, those two swords, they're not actively fighting, they're crossed, but they're balanced off, right? So we have compromise here. They also break open the center of that area defined by the other 8 swords. So we have expanded perspective here too. Thought, which is no longer a prisoner of self. Now we're able to liberate our thought. And also, we're able to join the heart and mind here. Yeah, we have affectivity, of affect, emotion, yeah, affectivity in our mental activity as well. Intellectual maturity is indicated here, and harmony with the heart. So we have a balance of heart and mind, a harmonious balance, and interaction. It's not like the balance of this weight over here and this weight over here, and they're separate but balanced. No, this is an integrated system of heart and mind that is balanced. Not mind overpowering heart, not heart overpowering mind, but a balanced system. Reminding us a little bit of that system of the material which was indicated in the 4 of coins, right? And we also have acquiring a complete picture of reality. Now, in the 10, that's completion. We have a complete picture of reality. Our perspective is full. Rather than limited and narrow, it's full. It's as complete as possible. Now, we can never have an absolutely complete perspective with these eyes in these bodies. Now, for a complete perspective, we would have to be out of the body in some sort of non-physical spiritual form, where we can see in the, not see like we see with our eyes, but where we can perceive the entirety of eternity, right? In these bodies, our eyes are limited, but we get as complete a perspective as we can, as we are where we are, with this card, which is wonderful and helps with that system of maintaining and keeping a stable economy of resources and money and material, etc. So we move from this into the Six of Cups, which is fascinating. Yeah, cups. Like I said, I think I mentioned this already. The working title for this week's previous video is Infused with Love. So this card being the third card, it was just a wonderful, happy support of that idea. And the Six of Cups, we see these two lines of three cups, which are separated by floral decoration there. So we get the idea of mirroring. We get the idea of balance and harmony, which is what sixes are for me. Harmony and beauty. So here in the Six of Cups, we have happy relationships. Joy in socializing. Maybe these six people are gathering around a table. Pleasure in love and community. Well, several things which were mentioned in the previous video. But it's not only community, it could be self-love. It could be us looking at ourselves in a mirror. Self-love in fullness and acceptance and inner contact with the divine. This could be the three levels of self, right? The unconscious, the conscious, and the spiritual. That self merging with the divine self and the divine. And being in full contact and in relationship with the divine and with divine love. Meeting and accepting the other. Whether the other is the shadow aspect of self, the unrecognized aspect of self, whether the other is another person, another human being, whether the other is the divine, or whatever you want to call it, them, our higher selves. I don't like that term, but our higher selves, our angels, our guardian angel, Gaia, Mother Earth, whatever, the divine. Yeah, meeting that other in a mirror relationship with esteem, with respect and love, and keeping a stable personal alliance. And there was an indication of the importance of stability in relationships in this week's spread as well. So that is confirmed here too. Love, including intelligence, heart, and instinct. Love, including intelligence, heart, and instinct. Yeah, intelligence, heart, and instinct. But remember, heart and mind, intelligence and heart were already linked here. So here we have intelligence, heart, and instinct, all joined in relationship and in harmony and in beauty and in the pleasure of relationship. So we start with a stable system. Our perspective, it becomes full. We were asked to have a clear perspective this week. Double checking the decisions we're making, the actions we're taking, having a clear perspective, expanding our minds, but also joining our minds and our hearts. So that we don't fall into or slip into mental cruelty and mental fatigue and hopelessness, which is a potential challenge apparently for this week. But rather, we fill ourselves with love and we enjoy the relationships within ourselves, with the divine, with others. Wonderful, wonderful little reading here. Wonderful advice for this coming week, but always, right? I mean, sometimes the Four of Coins is not the best advice. Sometimes wanting that stability, even though it's a living ecosystem of flowing resources in and out, sometimes even that is too limiting and we want to do the Five. We want to break out and take chances. This week is not taking chances week. This week is moving in the direction of making decisions and flowing with those decisions. Yeah? And we have the potential for financial rewards here. And the previous spread that we saw this week had a slight hint towards romance, which is interesting because of this next card from an oracle deck. Let me show you that card right now. So this is a card from Patrick Valenza's deck called the Zammer Twins Oracle, and I think it's still available. I'll have a link in the description box below for this card, for this deck, I should say. Yeah, just buy this card. No, for the deck. And this can be a fairly disturbing image, right? It's called Bedfellows. It's number 19. You see Lucifer there in the center, joining two apparently newlyweds in bed on their wedding night, according to Patrick Valenza. And here, the Luciferian being was an unexpected visitor, according to the creator. And you see at the bottom of the bed, down here at the bottom, can you see those tentacles slipping out from beneath the covers? Yeah? So slimy tentacles of a sea creature slither out from under the covers, symbolizing the vile and bizarre consecrations that will transpire this evening. Yeah? Now, personally, I don't have a problem with tentacles. I mean, octopi and cuttlefish, I think, are beautiful creatures. And we know, I don't know if you've learned about the intelligence of octopi, but probably also cuttlefish. So tentacles, creatures, oh no, scary, scary, yeah, run for the hills. I don't feel that. But Patrick Valenza is pointing towards that creepiness of tentacles here. However, this card, we're reading it in its upright meaning, and for Patrick Valenza, that means close connections. Not the tentacles, but the entire card. Close connections. A strange mix of companions. Perhaps an unwelcome guest, but perhaps an intrusion into a relationship, but though it's an unorthodox affiliation, it could be for our benefit, I think. Yeah? So something or someone new comes into our mix, and it could be unsettling, but if we accept it, if we surrender to what is, something I emphasized in the previous video, as in the Tree of Life, the 8th Sephirah, which is Hod, which I read as surrendering to what is. Now we were called, that was part of this week's reading. I think that's what this is indicating for us as well. It's, something unexpected, something perhaps even unwelcome might be intruding into our space. But if we're open to it, if we can connect with it closely, we will benefit from it. Yeah? Does that make sense? And it's an unusual, a strange mix of companions, but I think that will be for the betterment of us. So, in addition, if there is romance on your table, in your possible sphere of activities or experiences in this coming week, it very well could be romance with not the kind of person you expected it to be with. Now that doesn't mean that gotta look for the nearest creepy looking person and latch on. That's not what we're saying here. It's the unexpected could be somebody that you thought was quote unquote out of your league, right? We're so self-critical. We so often think that this person is unattainable, this person is beneath me, this person is right. Yeah, porridge too hot, porridge too cold, porridge just right. That's not what people are. So, the unexpected could, okay, maybe you would never have looked at given that person a second glance, but maybe that's the right person. Or maybe you were afraid that person would never have given you a second glance, and so it's unexpected. You never know. It's the time to be open and see what comes into your sphere, while doing all the other things that we were called to do at this time. Now, allow the unexpected and unconventional interactions and things to appear. I think they'll be to our benefit. Even though this card makes it seem like it's the devil, remember that in that our current concept of Lucifer, the devil, as being this kind of beast, this kind of being, is a fairly modern invention when we think of the eons of time. This is not the biblical image of Lucifer. This is the image that was created in the 1500s. And there are some who understand that this being here could be a misunderstanding of the Shekinah, now the divine creative feminine, trapped in her creation of the material realm. Trapped or entranced by her creation of the material realm. And so, is this an angel become evil, or is this an angel who has not fallen like you did something bad and you've fallen from grace, but rather has come down from, has descended from heaven to create this material existence that we are co-creating right here, right now? And are we misinterpreting this symbol, this symbolic representation of what we call Satan? Is it really the divine here entranced with its own creation? I don't know. So maybe we want to recognize the divine in whatever it is that is appearing before us. Because, literally, friends, my perspective of this universe here is there is nothing that is not of the divine. Now, we do weird stuff with this divine manifestation. We do stuff out of our confusion, out of our fear, that is not to the benefit of ourselves or others. A lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. More than we a lot of the time. But this entire universe, I believe, is the divine, exploring its divine nature. Not cursing us, not forcing us, not making us do or expecting us to do or anything. We are part of the divine. We are the divine here, exploring what it is to be us. And sometimes that brings in unexpected and strange bedfellows. But this week I think we're called to accept those strange bedfellows. Being clear that we're not accepting people who are coming in to do us harm, right? That's not what we're talking about here. But the unexpected could be to our benefit. Does that make sense? If it does, let me know in the comments below. If it does not, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. What do you think? Can you see how this video and the previous video of this week are different, are layers of a similar response to the question, how can we live our lives more intentionally in the coming week? Can you see the overlap in the layers here? I'd love to hear from you. And friends, I'd also like to thank you. Thank you very much for hitting the thumbs up button and subscribing to this channel. You do a service to others when you do that. Yeah, you allow the channel to come into the visual space of people who might not otherwise have seen this channel and might get benefit from this channel when you do those things. So thank you very much. And friends, if you want these decks, remember the links will be in the description box below if there are links. And if you want a reading from me, my email address is below. Send me an email to thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com and we'll get you a reading. Or leave a message in the comments below. We'll find a way to link up on Facebook or by email or by Instagram. There are several possibilities. Okay, friends? Thank you very much. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.